Yo, top of the morning to the gambling gang, man. Welcome in. This is Cash Day with Chris, the NBA betting show slash podcast. And today's November the 16th, 2022. Excuse me. We got a lot to get into as always, but like we typically start the show, let's start with a recap, man. Absolutely got beat up last night. The books smashed me last night. Ah, It's tough, man. One thing I won't do is I'm never going to run from my losses. I always talk about them. I'm always transparent. I always love the spots that I give out as well. So it's not like I'm, you know, blindly taking stuff, right? I went official yesterday with four, well, you could say five plays because I gave out the under twice. The Pelicans minus the 1.5, cash that. The Spurs, Blazers under 224. Then the total went up to 226. Of course, they finished with 227. So we lose that one by three, or by one, depending on which one you played. I played both. I endorsed both. Made a video for the under 226, but talked about on the show yesterday that I was official on the 224. Both losses. And then Luka Doncic, his threes, 2.5, man. Minus 130. He finishes with two threes. He hits the late one, but doesn't hit another one. So we he finishes 2 for 5 from three, hit the game winning 3-pointer, but on the hook there, had crushed this line 6 of the last 7 games against the Mavericks, against the Rockets as well. I'm sorry, against the Clippers as well, and yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt, and you also get PG went back to the PG train. And everybody else on the Clippers steps up last night. PG actually looked like a point guard last night. Like he didn't want to shoot the ball. Didn't shoot the ball as many times. Was looking to get his teammates involved. And I wish he had just sent the memo so I would have known. Finishes on the hook. So Luka 1-3 short of cashing. PG 1 point short of cashing. The Blazers and the Spurs under 1 point short from pushing, 2 points short from cashing. And then the Pelicans. So, like I said, brutal 1-4 day, but easily could have been a sweep. But it is what it is, man. You move on, you push forward. That's why unit size is so important. I talk about it all the time. I don't want to talk about it too much on the show, man. I hope you guys were able to use the information that I gave, and it helped you guys yesterday as far as capping the games. Good morning to the chat. Appreciate you guys for being here. Talking about the Kings, the machine last night. Yeah, the Kings look good. They look real good. Scored seemed like 500 points last night. I had the Nets for first half, 5 minutes in. I knew that was done. Yeah, the Nets don't have enough to me in my mind. They don't have enough offense without Kyrie. When they play against these teams that can score the ball, the Kings they can really get out there and flat out score it. They can flat out score for sure. So they look real good, man. I see you guys talking about that in the chat this morning. So yeah, going through the recap as always. It's a lot of games today. It's a lot of games today. In full transparency, I haven't dug deep into a lot of these games, but I do kind of want to go through a few of them. Gonna be a lot more. Well, I haven't really been giving out a lot of plays, but I'm gonna be a lot more selective. Maybe 2 or 3 plays. Just depending on how much I like the card. It hasn't been successful so far though. So I do think that when you're going through, the ups and the downs, and it feels like it's more downs, it's better to limit your units, the amount of plays that you're putting in on a given card too. So not trying to force a lot of things. Even if you are down, don't force it. It'll come back. You'll start to see the board more clearly, but you don't want to dig yourself into a hole when you're down trying to, recoup, right? Whether that's live betting, whether that's, on a night to night basis. Say you played, 2 plays last night, you went 0 for 2. You don't have to play 4 plays to try to go, 4-0 today, right? Or 7 plays, right? So just wanted to kind of share that with you guys as well before we get into the games today. Let's see if we can get through a few of them, man. So it's a lot of games today. I think all together is what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I think it's 9 games a day. And a lot of these games are difficult to cap, especially in the very beginning of the day, just because there's so many injuries. The injury report for the day, I think, is longer than we've seen it so far this year. If I'm just being transparent and honest with you guys, I don't think we've ever seen as many players on the injury list that actually have a drastic impact in these games, which makes them really difficult to cap at 7 a.m. Eastern time, right? So First game up, let's go to this Oklahoma City Thunder game. They'll be traveling to Washington today to take on the Wizards. So what you get in this game, you get the Thunder, fifth game in 8 nights, third straight road game, third game in 4 nights for them as well. They coming in after the loss to the Celtics. They beat the Knicks on Sunday. So 1 day's rest. 3 straight covers, 3 straight ATS covers after failing to cover 4 games in a row. This offenses look good, the defense not so much. We saw the Knicks score a bunch of points against them, and we saw the Celtics score a bunch of points against them, as expected. But they've been able to score. On the opposite side, you get a Wizards team, 4 straight home games out of a 6-game homestand, 5 straight covers, 4 straight outright wins, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 7 nights, but all 4 have been at the crib. So they have had a tremendous homestand, right? They've looked good. Today, they get Bill back. So Bill's supposed to return. I am interested in looking at Bill when we get his lines, because I do think that Bill was in health and safety protocol. He's been, doing some reconditioning over the last, I think, maybe 4 days after coming out of health and safety protocol. And we've seen that players typically don't play well their first game back. Now, this is the Oklahoma City Thunder team that, is giving up points left and right, but Bill already just hasn't been playing well. So I'm interested to see what his numbers are, because I do think that, looking at these star players in their first game back, I think some unders typically cash. So I'll be looking at Bill's under. I got that written on my short list for sure. I didn't see Bill's lines earlier when I looked, but Bill's unders are something that I'm going to be taking a look at in this game. On the opposite side, Darius Baisley and Trey Mann are still out. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been crushing it, right? Dude's averaging, I think, back-to-back 30-point games, 37-point games, I want to say. But those were 2, fast-paced games. When you think about this Wizards team, they don't give up a lot of assists. They typically play pretty well defensively, and that's what we've seen, right? So, a total in this one sitting at 226, and you're kind of like, I don't really know. The Wizards are supposed to win this game. They were favored by 5. Some money's come in on OKC to cover the 4.5, which I would agree with. I think the Wizards do win this game. It won't be by 5 points. I think that's pretty close to, what should happen in this game. But Bill coming back could throw the offense off. I think it could throw the offense off just a tad bit. The Wizards have one of the better ATS records so far this season. So does OKC. These are both 2 teams that have been playing better than what they were expected to play. If the playoffs started today, the Wizards would be in. They're 8-5 against the spread this season, but they are just 3-5-1 against the spread with Bill playing, and they're losing those games by average of 5 points. Strong lean to OKC, plus the 4.5 in this one. It seems like a winnable game for the Thunder. I think the Wizards may overlook this team, being that they've played up to competition recently and they've been dogs. So I don't like laying 5 points with the Wizards. That seems scary to me, even though they are playing good. Porzingis is playing well. Kuzma's playing well. So that's my thoughts on that game. You guys got any thoughts on that game? What y'all on in that game? DJ said, good morning. Let's have a day. Fading the Pels tonight on back-to-back off the shorthanded win. I think the Bulls should come out here with something, especially after getting smacked up like they did the other day at the crib, rested against Denver. Denver absolutely laid it on them. So I would look for. I think that game goes under tonight, Anthony. I didn't cap it, but just mind process. I think that game goes under. Zion will be back tonight, most likely. We still don't know the status of Zion with his foot injury. Brian said Mavs first half and Pelicans cashed, then Atlanta, then the Nets crushed me. Yeah, they did not look good at all. I like the Bulls, Rockets, and Pacers today. Ain't betting anything yet. Yeah, we gotta wait until these injury reports get cleared up in all seriousness. It's just so much going on, man. Timberwolves and Magic. Let me see. I don't even know if I made a banner for that one. Yeah, real quick. Timberwolves looked good the other day, against the Cavs. First time this season they've looked that good, and I think a lot of it has to do with D'Angelo Russell. Dude absolutely balled the other day, and I think that could be a confidence boosting game and win for the Timberwolves. You just see him with, play with a little more pop. Now, granted, the Cavs didn't have Donovan Mitchell, they didn't have Jared Allen. This Magic team hangs their hat on defensive end most nights, but they are susceptible to giving up points. They turn the ball over a lot, and they don't defend well against guards. We saw LaMelo go in there and play pretty well, and come out with a win. And we've seen, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr. I like D'Angelo Russell again tonight, man. I know you don't want to typically go back to the well, but I think guys like D'Angelo Russell have a big game today. This spread opened at Orlando laying 5, and it's been pushed to 5.5 at some books. Total at 224, and it's kind of staying around that 224 range. 225, I see it up 1 point only on DraftKings. Paolo is questionable in this game, so another difficult game difficult thing to kind of cap. We don't know when he's going to come back. Should he return? Yeah, he's missed the last 2 games. Wendell Carter Jr. is questionable with a foot injury. That also impacts the game, in a big way, because the Magic, they typically have more size than a lot of teams. They won't have too much more size than, this Timberwolves team having Rudy Gobert and having Karl Anthony Towns down there. So that's my quick thoughts and analysis on that game. Keeping it pushing, man. This Pacers and Hornets game, too difficult to cap right now. You get a Pacers team, first game on the road in quite a while. They haven't played on the road in a nice little while. They had a nice little homestand at the crib, and then I think the last game they played, they lost to Toronto the other day. The spread opened at 2.5, and it's still kind of hovering around 2.5 as well. Total at 232, which is a lot of points. Up to 230. I see it down at 231. I see it up to 233. So people are not really knowing what to do with this spread. And a lot of that has to do with the injury report, and that's why I won't stay on this game too long. Gordon Hayward is still out. Dennis Smith Jr. is listed as doubtful, which means probably that LaMelo plays, significant minutes in this game. It'll be his 3rd game back, which he's looked better and better in each game. Tyrese Halliburton, big question mark, and reason why I'm not touching this game yet. He's questionable with an ankle injury. So, we know how much he means to that offense, which makes this game unplayable until we get his status, at least in my eyes, in my estimation. Let's see what else we got. We got let's see. What other game did I want to touch on real quick? Heat and the Raptors, another game that's extremely difficult to touch. Won't even really talk about it because of the injury report. Bam came up listed as questionable yesterday. Tyler Hero, he's out. He won't play in this game. Otto Porter Jr. is out. Gary Trent Jr. is listed as questionable with a hip injury. Fred VanVleet didn't play in the last game against Detroit. He's listed as questionable with an illness. So we just don't know the status of those guys. Keeping it pushing. Cavs and the Bucks, another game. Like, the injury report is it looks like a receipt from CVS, man. Like, Dean Wade is listed as questionable. The Bucks are laying 4 points against the Cavs at the crib, total at 219.5. Giannis is supposed to play. We know the Bucks are coming off the loss against Atlanta. They were at the crib, so second game at home for them. The Cavs still haven't won a game, back on the East Coast. And they were shorthanded in that game the other day against the Timberwolves on Sunday. Dean Wade is listed as doubtful with a knee injury. Donovan Mitchell is a game time decision, which also makes this game, impossible to cap this early in the morning. Jared Allen, he's listed as out already with an ankle injury. Pat Connaughton is upgraded to questionable. He could make his, I think it'll be a season debut. Grayson Allen listed as doubtful. Drew Holiday's questionable. He hasn't played in the last couple games for them with that ankle injury, and Wesley Matthews is already listed as out. So that I'm just giving you guys the injury report and let you know that that's what makes these games so difficult to cap, man. One thing I am looking at though, and I haven't placed this bet yet, the Houston Rockets and Dallas Mavericks. So the Rockets, right, coming off the kind of deflating loss the other day to the Clippers. They were rested in that game, right? Today's Wednesday. So on Monday night, they lost to the Rockets. I'm sorry, the Rockets lost to the Clippers. And if you pay attention to the beat writers for the Rockets, they were talking about how frustrated the guys are that they just can't seem to get over the hump, right? Like they just talk about lack of effort, lack of energy. I'm looking at this game from the standpoint that I think the Rockets do come out here and try to give the Mavs everything that they have. A lot of losses in a row for the Rockets. And to me, it just feels like they score points in this game. I don't know if they cover. I think that they could potentially cover this game, but you don't want to take the Rockets on the road as double digit dogs. They don't typically do well in that spot. But the reason why I kind of like the total in this game, and I like it to go over. It opened at 220.5. It's up to 221. 221 and a half too, some places. I think the Rockets score points in this game, man. I think that the Mavericks, they had to win that game twice yesterday. You see them win in the first they absolutely smashed the Clippers coming in. The Clippers couldn't buy a basket last night in the first half, especially in the first quarter. I think it was 30-15. And then they were winning by 20 at halftime. And you see the Mavs have to fight hard to win that game last night. Luka played 40 plus minutes. Spencer Dinwiddie played 40 plus minutes. So now you get the Rockets get the Mavs on the second night of a back-to-back. I don't think that the Mavs will have trouble scoring at all. I think that they may overlook this Rockets team after a big win last night, and the total could go over. I'm not interested in really playing the Rockets. I do think that the Rockets going to cover a game here soon. The Mavs typically own the Rockets. But the Mavs, they're 2-0 to the over on the second night of back-to-back so far this season. And I do think that, like I said, having Luka play 40 plus minutes last night, I just see the Rocket. I see them taking their foot off the gas a little bit tonight. I think the Rockets and the Mavs games goes over 220 points, over 220 and a half points. So that's where I'm looking at. That's actually my one of my more stronger plays of the day. Haven't put the ticket in yet to be transparent and honest with you guys, but that's where I'll be looking. Rockets and the Mavs over the 220. I think the Mavs gonna be able to score because the Rockets can't guard anybody, and I think the Mavs overlook the Rockets, and the Rockets are also able to score in this game. So I like I like that total to go over 220, over 221. We also got the Knicks and the Nuggets. Bones is the Nuggets got something going on in their locker room because Bones, he's listed as doubtful, health and safety protocol. Jokic is listed as out already, health and safety protocol. Aaron Gordon is questionable with an illness. So I don't know what they got going on in Denver. But yeah, it's affecting the guys for sure. And it may be even more. So another game extremely difficult, extremely hard to cap. The Knicks are coming into this game off the win last night in Utah, outright win, and they covered the spread as 4.5-point dogs after having a team meeting following the loss on Sunday to the Oklahoma City Thunder before they started this trip. Utah's coming back down to earth a little bit. I think that's 3 straight losses. Terrible spot for them. Coming back home, first game after a 3-game road trip out east. And, like I said, they end up losing that game. So now you get the Nuggets. They were laying 9.5. The spread is now, I see it all over the place. I see it at 9.5 on Westgate. I see it at a pick. I see it at 3.5. I see it at the consensus looks like it's 4. Total went from 233 all the way down to 228. So, they're expecting a few less points tonight. Extremely difficult game to cap right now, though, until we, know exactly who's going to be in. Aaron Gordon means a lot to this team. They'll still have Jamal Murray. They'll still have, Michael Porter Jr. as well. And then, of course, we have the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. And I need to do a little more digging in this game. CP3, is questionable in this one. The Suns are coming off that heartbreaking loss where Devin Booker got his shot blocked by Jimmy Butler, and the Warriors have still yet to win a game on the road. They'll be coming off the big win against the San Antonio Spurs. Blew them boys out by like 35 the other day. So interesting game. I'll definitely have more on that game this evening when we do the 5:15 NBA Crispy Capping show. But that's what I got for you guys today. It'll be a light day for me, man. I know it's a bunch of games. It's a lot of good opportunities. Like I said, Bill unders I'll be looking at, especially if they have the numbers, a tad bit too inflated as he kind of, eases his way back in. And then I really like that Houston Rockets and the Dallas Mavericks to go over 221.5. But I got to do some more digging before I make that one an official play as well. And that's what I got for you guys today, man. I know it's a big card. I'll have more, player props and things like that I'm looking at, and official plays on the evening show. But that's what I was looking at. What y'all on? DJ said was leaning OKC and Washington over 226. The problem with that, DJ, because I looked at that as well, right? I was looking at the total because OKC games just continue to keep going over. But if the Wizards are going to win, and the Wizards wins, right? And the Wizards wins, they're actually 3-5 to the under, right? They're actually and the Wizards wins this season. If you think the Wizards are gonna win the game, they typically play defense. They're 3-5, they're 5-3 to the under. The games are only getting to 215 points. So that's one of the reasons that kind of talk me off of the over. If you think that the OKC Thunder are going to if you think the Wizards going to overlook OKC, DJ, then you could potentially, take that over 226. But Wizards games typically don't go over 226. They play a slow brand of basketball. Their offense isn't always clicking on all cylinders, so they go through lulls where they're not able to score. But their defense typically stays impact. Wes Unseld does have those guys playing defense at a really good rate right now, and you see that their games they typically don't score a lot of points, right? Even for the full game, DJ, like on the season at 8-6, 14 game sample size, they're only getting to about 217 points, right? And that's the total game. They're only averaging 108, and their opponent, is averaging 109 on the full season. So that's what kind of kept me off of that over, DJ. But I'm glad you asked that because I was thinking about that as well. Corday says, what does SDQL say about Knicks playing in Denver after winning in Utah the night before? I'll have to look that one up, man. I'll have to look that one up. I will tell you that this Knicks team, they responded well to getting smacked up against and giving up so many points. So the Knicks and let's see, the Knicks so far this season are 0-1 on the second night of a back-to-back. They lost against the Celtics. They typically don't play well against the Nuggets. I'm sorry, they typically don't play well against the teams that have a winning record. I talked about them being just 1-5 against the spread. But if you look at let's see, if you look at them just playing against the Nuggets, last year against the Nuggets, they were 0-2 straight up, 0-2 ATS. They lost both of those games, one in Madison Square Garden, and then in the away one they lost 132 to 115. At home they lost by 14 points, but it's a totally different game because you don't have Jokic. So you got to look towards the Knicks. I know it's the second night of a back-to-back, but the Nuggets are also coming off. This will be their first game back at the crib after coming home to the East Coast. So I mean, it's kind of like Knicks or nothing. It's crazy to say that because we were just talking about how nobody want to play the Knicks. I'm not playing the Knicks, but that's the only way I'd be able to look in that one. What up to my boy Side? What up, bro? What's up? What's up? Raptors and Heat. That's a difficult one to cap too, man. Like I said, because we don't know the status. I'm not gonna really talk too much, Christian, about a game where I don't have a lot of information on. I feel like I'm just wasting people's time. That ain't what I'm here for. Bam, like I said, he's listed as questionable. He has a tremendous impact in this game. We know that Tyler Hero's already listed as out, but Gary Trent Jr. and Fred VanVleet being listed as questionable impacts how you cap this game for sure. The Heat have struggled with guards this year. They've done pretty well against big men. So having Gary Trent Jr. and Fred VanVleet is going to be tremendous. And we won't get that injury news until probably right before game time because we know Nick Nurse likes to manipulate the injury report. So he's not going to like he won't give anybody anything, right? This dude's like Greg Popovich 2.0. So don't really have a lot of thoughts on that game, Christian, until we get the injury news and we know who's actually playing. So I hope you guys found this helpful, man. Like I said, I got a couple things that I'm looking at, and I'll have more on the evening show. Tune back in with me 5:15 Eastern time. Nothing official right now, but the Crispy Captain Show 5:15 Eastern. I'll have a lot more plays, do some more digging into these games. But that's what I'm on right now. Best of luck to you guys as always. And I always like to end the show. None of this is financial consultation. It's query, it's SDQL, it's logic, it's analytics, it's eye test. Bet with your heads and not over it, especially if you're struggling to, find your way early in the season. It's a long season. We still got, we're like 15 games in the season. So it's a lot of basketball still left to be played, a lot of money still left to be played, but manage your units appropriately. So even when you have bad nights like I did last night going 1-4, you still have something left, like play, bankroll management, right? Units, 2% of your bankroll, that type of thing. So best of luck to you guys today on whatever it is that you do play. And I'll see you guys back at 5:15, man.